Hello, and thanks for joining me for this Met Office 10-day trend. What a week of weather we're in the midst of at the moment. Day on day, everything's different. Monday started wet and windy, and the working week certainly likely to culminate in a hot day on Friday, as you may well be aware. But heat haters, fear not. The weekend promises much fresher and cooler conditions across the UK, still with a fair bit of fine weather around. Next week, well, I'm not a big fan of the word changeable, but it really does kind of sum the weather up, as it has done for most of this summer. Day on day, things just will keep varying, mostly influenced by the Atlantic. Perhaps a subtle shift, as we'll see in just a moment. First of all, though, let's get on to the rest of this week, because there's plenty to talk about. Now, I told you at the start a hot spell is on the way, but this pressure chart, if you're after a hot spell, doesn't look all that optimistic. You just imagine that low in the west will sweep in, bringing us all a spell of wet and windy weather. But if we take a look at the bigger picture and zoom out and look at high up in the atmosphere, the jet stream is driving south across the mid-Atlantic, and then as it kinks and turns further north, we call this an amplification of the jet stream. Well, that has the effect of pushing the low to the north, so it doesn't sweep across the UK, it goes to the northwest. Now, it will still bring some rain on Thursday across Northern Ireland initially, spreading into parts of Scotland, but even here it clears away through Thursday night and Friday, and as the low shifts to the north, the high builds to the east, and the result is that we get southerly winds wafting up the warmth. So on Thursday, yes, those weather fronts will bring some rain across Scotland and Northern Ireland, whereas for England and Wales there'll be plenty of very warm sunshine. But it's Friday when we see the peak of those temperatures widely across the UK in the mid to high 20s, 30 degrees in a number of locations, and across the southeast, well, the potential for 33 Celsius. There is a weather front, though, just out to the west, so it will be cloudier here and not quite so hot. And there is the potential, too, for the heat and humidity to spark some thunderstorms on Friday afternoon, most likely across eastern England. Now, a lot's got to come together in the upper atmosphere for these thunderstorms to spark, but there is the potential for some real downpour, so that's an area we're keeping a close eye on. After that, well, the cold front is going to swing through again, looking at the bigger picture. Just look at that cold front, just brushing away all that hot air and into the weekend. Although there'll still be quite a bit of warmth across the southeast for a time on Saturday. Temperature will be back much closer to average for most of us. But there's a little ridge of high pressure there, so for most, Saturday's dry and fine. A greater chance, yes, of seeing some showers on Sunday. So that's the weekend. Not as hot, much more comfortable for sleeping, not as humid as well. So in many respects, a fine weekend, but there will be some showers, particularly on Sunday. Into the new working week, and there's another low pressure. This one is going to swing its way across more southern parts of the UK, but there's quite a bit of uncertainty in the intensity and the timing of that low. At the moment, this is the most likely scenario, with the low drifting across England and Wales, bringing cloud and rain for a time on Monday, staying more showery across Scotland and Northern Ireland. But as I said, quite a bit of uncertainty about the position of that low. That's not unusual 6 days ahead. It's all tied in again to the jet stream driving south and picking up that low. But it could be a bit more developmental, as we say. That low could be a little bit more intense, or it could be a lot weaker. That position of the jet stream actually is quite interesting, because that's how we've seen this summer generally, with the jet stream unusually far south, and that's been responsible for this generally cooler than average summer, and with a fair bit of rain around too. And, well, as we go into next week, that south-shifted jet looks like persisting initially, but there are some signs that into the latter part of next week, well, that jet stream might just be a little bit further north shifted. Now, it's the jet stream that drives the low pressure system, so if the jet's a bit further north, the low pressures are generally a bit further north, which may allow high pressure to build across the south. So there are some signs towards the end of next week that across the south it could become a little bit more settled, a bit drier and a bit brighter, but certainly further north that changeable theme is set to continue. Day-on-day variations, and particularly if you're interested in how hot we get on Friday, make sure you're following the Met Office on social media.